Let's see, pretty different between the two of them. With my mom, she was more of like a smothering love kind of parent. So there was never a doubt in my brother and my lives that we were the center of our universe, that everything else came second. And my dad, I think, was a little bit more dismissive or nonchalant when we were really young. One of the first Spanish words I learned was cenicero, which is ashtray, get me the ashtray. When I used to wake up in the middle of the night and try to crawl into bed with them, he would just sort of send me away and tell me to close my eyes. He definitely got angry a few times. There was one incident where we lost the 7th ball from the pool table, and he got really upset. I think both my brother and I were left pretty frustrated and alienated in terms of feeling like, if he really wanted to, he would have had a relationship with us, and that we went, a couple of years at a time at points without talking to him. From his perspective.
My parents stayed together, and my dad died when I was in college, but I was very close to my dad. Never doubted, definitely felt secure in that relationship. Felt very loved and supported, unconditionally supported, and a lot of security around that relationship. A lot of admiration for him as sort of my idol. My mom, in hindsight now, I think she was more of a narcissist, and she definitely, a lot of things revolved around her, but I definitely didn't feel the same level of support that I got from my dad. It was hard because she went from being really dependent on him to being really dependent on me. I never doubted that she loved me, but in a very challenging way. I have this vivid memory from when I was 9. We went to stay with my grandparents because they were living with my aunt and uncle back east, and they were going on vacation, so we went to sort of stay with them. And my mom and I went into the city, New York City, and we got lost, and we were back late. And we came in, and her dad started yelling at us. And I said, what's wrong with him? And she's like, oh, he was worried, and that's how he shows his love. And so that's sort of always been how she shows her love, being kind of difficult. So it's not that I doubt that she loves me. The way she loves me doesn't feel very good. The way my dad loved me always felt very solid and supportive.
I definitely was led to believe that he wasn't faithful. It didn't really seem like he was as focused on us versus his social life or whatever. Part of that might have been the stories I've been told from my mom, but I think I just kind of grew up not wanting to be that and do that, and feeling like being a father and being a husband were the most important responsibilities and duties that I could ever have. So that was always at the top of my list of what I wanted.
For my dad, I think I've always really wanted someone like him. Someone where I felt like there was no question, he always had my back. And that was really unusual. And even my mom, who was kind of difficult, he always supported her. So I looked at that as sort of my role model for a partner. But I also didn't want to be like my mom. My mom was super dependent on me. So what I saw was a lot of dependence. And like I said, when he died, she went from being dependent on him to me. And I never wanted to be that person. So I've been fiercely independent, perhaps to a fault, not wanting to lean on a partner, which makes it hard for us because I think Darian really wants me to, and that's a hard thing for me. And then also losing my dad made me feel like things can change in the blink of an eye. So I've always felt like I don't want to be too reliant on a partner because it can change so quickly.
times that I can remember where I got like broken up with surprisingly or whatever, where somebody just bailed. I think I'm pretty fiercely loyal, and I haven't really questioned any of those relationships. And I guess on the flip side, when I've been the one where like something happened and a family member did something that was like disappointing or upsetting, I've had to kind of mediate that, and that's been really difficult emotionally for me to sort of have to be in a tough love or letting them know that their actions were hurtful or unacceptable. One of my friends basically just dropped off the face of the earth and never explained himself to me, just like sort of stopped calling or responding.
Or letting people treat you in a way that's not super respectful, but it's more important to you.
I think the point is I definitely have more insecurities in my friendships and social relationships.
I would say my friendships are an area that I'm actually not insecure. I have pretty high standards for my friends, and they meet them. So I've been pretty lucky of not wanting a replication of what I had with my mom. So pretty low drama. And then in romantic relationships, I think usually my standards have actually been pretty high, so I've usually been the one to end them. The only part I've struggled with is when the other person moved on. Affected my romantic relationships. My friendships, I remember a million years ago now, my dad saying to me, actually, you can often judge a person by their friends, and that I had really nice friends, and I always felt that way too, and so I feel like those have probably been my most solid as my friendships. We're pretty doting. So the only thing I do worry about with him is him getting spoiled, like if we're too much. But I don't know how that necessarily plays out. It's just in my mind. When I was little, I remember him putting me down to go to sleep and telling me stories, and I have this vivid memory of it. And I know he was messing with me, where he pretended like he fell asleep and was talking in his sleep, and ran into an old friend and was telling me how wonderful his wife and his kids were, and blah blah blah. And the next morning he's like, "Oh, I had this interesting dream," and I was like, and my mom did that too, by the way. She'd tell stories when she read books to me and lay down with me, and so we're definitely involved in that way. I mean, we're pretty engaged with them. I mean, my mom was definitely engaged. Emotionally, she could be difficult, but she was there and she was present. My dad was definitely engaged and loving.
For me, I think like laughter and play is a big part of it. I'm always chasing them around or playing with them or whatever, just having fun with them, playing games. So I think that's a big part of it, is just prioritizing them and interacting with them. Definitely physically and verbally letting them know that he's loved, whether it's just saying words or showering with kisses pretty much all the time.
Do you know Mommy loves you? And he's like, yeah. Do you know Daddy loves you? Yeah. Like he doesn't hesitate to whatever that means. I guess he hears it enough from us, so he definitely is sensitive. We're still learning it. It's one of our areas of struggle.
Yeah, her language is actions, mine is words. And so in my mind, I make a very concerted attempt to like perform actions and do the things that I think should demonstrate my commitment, my love, my support, my adoration. And they don't seem to really land. And I don't know if it's because she doesn't use the language of words, so she's not telling me what I need to hear, which is like, oh, I really appreciated that, thank you. But I'm also not necessarily seeing it in terms of actions or affection or the other things. So like, from my point of view, I feel like I'm doing these things, and not only am I not getting the positive recognition, but I'm getting the negative insecurity of like, she's not getting what she needs. And so it leaves me feeling like, am I doing something wrong? Do I not know how to love her properly? And
I also think what is really obvious to me right now in this conversation is how much that's influenced by how we were loved as kids, because your mom was all about words and touch and like that's how she showed affection.
Yeah,
And
sure.
my parents were not either of those things. I mean, they did those things, but that was not how they did it. They did it through action, very much through action and presence. And so I think my two things were like service and spending time, quality time, which is kind of nailing my parents, and words and physical is nailing your mom. So it really kind of is funny to me to think about that, like how much that does influence. Taking care of things is my way of demonstrating positive and commitment and care. His thing is like, it'll get done, or it's not a big deal. And for me, it's a big deal to take care of some of those things. So like, that's why our languages, I think, are really different on that front, which is hard. And it's also where the frustration comes.
So I think there's an interdependency. She was just talking about, she definitely drives more of the stuff around the house. But I definitely do some stuff, whether it's domestic stuff or like taking care of bills or, maintaining the home or whatever. Like, some of it is along the lines of traditional gender lines, I'd say, but there's definitely pieces that we both own. So the reliancy piece, I think we both sort of are like craving a little bit more from the other person and feel satisfied in terms of like our ability to please the other person or meet their needs.
I think I might be more reliant on, like, he's actually the better communicator and the better emotionally supportive one, so I think I might be more reliant on him for that. And then for like taking care of things, he might be more reliant on me for that. But so maybe it's interdependent would be the better word for it.
Are you guys happy with your life
So
together?
I told Sandra about 6 months after we were dating, he took off for a sabbatical, traveling the world for 6 months, and I figured we weren't going to work out because nothing was serious. But I said to her, it's not going to work out with him, but I'm glad to know there's someone like him out there. That's the kind of person I want to be with. And I still feel that way, like he's the person I want to be with. And we have our challenges, but he's still the person I want to spend my life with. So I think in terms of, am I happy with the person I'm with and the life we have? Yes, that's not the question for me.
I am definitely happy, like this is the life that I always wanted. I have everything that I always wanted. This is the life I always dreamed of. I think she's absolutely like the partner I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. I am definitely happy, like this is the life that I always wanted. I am definitely happy, like this is the life that I always wanted.